Hi everyone, and welcome back to another JaYo movie reviews. Well, not movie. This time it's a TV show, but same thing. JaYo reviews. And I have the lovely Jerry Weil with me.
Hello, hello.
And today we're going to talk about the number one Netflix series at the moment, which is Nobody Wants This. And I'm super excited to get into it. I have so many thoughts. We're going to start with how we always start, which is a rating between 0 and 10 of how we feel about the show. And I'll start with you, Jerry. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna give it a solid 8.
Wow. Okay. 8 out of 10. Jerry is much, much harsher than I am. It's funny. I've been like the one who's been
I'm
more
harsher than you. Okay.
today, indeed. I give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
excellent. Let's get into it. Well, let's talk about first like what this show is about, right? Um, to me, what it boils down to is connection, people just trying to connect, and all kinds of people, um, and trying to be their true selves. It's about a rabbi who ends a long-term relationship, and he meets and falls in love with this atheist blogger. She's podcast podcaster. Yeah, podcaster who talks with her sister about sex and relationships, and an atheist, and they develop a relationship, an unlikely relationship. And as he is a rabbi, um, he should be with a Jewish woman, and she is not that. And so it's all about their relationship as well as their relationships with other people, their family, etc. Friends. It's very lovely. So before we get into it, you said you auditioned for this show. Who did you audition for?
I auditioned for the Cantor in episode 1,
Hmm.
and the one I was really excited about, my one of my favorite auditions I've ever done is the guy in the porn shop in episode 4, Mr.
Yes.
Gold.
Oh, I can see
Yeah,
you.
yeah, it was at the time they didn't have a title for the show, so it was called the Untitled Aaron Foster Show.
Hmm.
So I didn't even know when it came out. I had no idea that that was the show, and people kept telling me, "Oh, you got to check out this show. Have you seen this show? Have you seen this show?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'll check it out." And then I looked the show up, and I was like, "Oh, that's the show." Because yeah,
Gotcha.
I didn't know the name. Yeah.
Ah, that's so wild. Crazy. So, what did you, let's start actually, let's change it up and start with what we didn't like about the show. What didn't you like about the show?
Hmm. Hmm. What didn't I like? I don't know. There's not much not to like.
Mm.
Um, Trying to think if there's anything. I guess, I mean, I can't think of any specific examples. I think there were probably a couple of times where things got, a little too unbelievable. Um, where they just went like a little too far with, artistic license and stuff. And I can't really think of any specific examples, but that's probably the only thing where he was like, maybe I don't really buy that. That's a little too far fetched. I mean, obviously it's a comedy, so you can get away with stuff. But um, yeah, I can't really think of anything other than that.
Mm. For me, at first, I didn't totally love the you know, the the toxicity of the relationship between Morgan and Joanne. Morgan and Joanne are the two sisters. Joanne is played by Kristen Bell, and who's one of the leads of this show, and her sister Morgan is played by Justine Lupe or Loop. I don't know. I think it's Lupe. And I kind of disliked Morgan for the first couple of episodes. She was mean. She was too much to me, too mean. Like I get the love-hate relationships. Hello, I have two sisters. If anybody knows, I flipping know. Um, let me tell you, at the same time, I was just like, the balance is a little bit too much. Like let's make it um a little less mean, a little less harsh to her sister, please. And of course, it makes up for that in later episodes, which is great. But I wanted more of a equilibrium, like 60% mean, 40% nice type of thing. And I felt like it was skewed a little bit more than that. And then I also feel like a lot of the women in the show were made out to be toxic in some way or like have some negative traits overall. And I just was like, don't love that choice.
Okay, well, we can get into the whole controversy over the show, so you're kind of on the going speaking along the lines of some of the controversy. But go ahead.
Oh, there's controversy? Yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah.
We'll definitely get into it then after we say what we liked. I did not know that. That's wild. I've only read like gushing commentaries about this show,
Uh,
so I'm excited. Okay. Well, and that I think those are the only things I didn't like. And at first I thought I wouldn't like the length because I'm more of a I like the 45 minutes to an hour like episodes for shows personally.
oh,
Um
I'm just the opposite.
really? You're like, "Oh, you want
If
that
there's
bite
30
size?"
minutes, I'm like, I'm there. Like it's so much easier to just watch a 30-minute episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
1000%. And I think that's where they did actually well is that, after watching the 20 to 25-minute episode, I'm like, let's go. So it's super bingeable. And I'm not a binger. I don't binge
Right.
watch almost anything. But what did we like? What did you like, Jerry?
Oh God, where do I begin? Well, look, it's funny, it's charming, it's sweet. It's we don't get a lot of sort of romantic comedies that are really well done.
Yes.
But the main thing that I really, really appreciate is it's an authentic Jewish story that we don't get a lot of. And I thought it was done in a really, really authentic way. I mean, I know these people. I've grown up with these people. It's like it just really, really it made me laugh a lot. There's a lot of sort of more inside Jewish humor, and that it's that we can appreciate, and there's humor that other people can appreciate. I've met some of the jokes that were in there. Like I've lived some of these jokes. Like we used to. I have a friend of mine
Oh.
who's a very typical shiksa, that comes up,
Gosh,
and
I
and
didn't know that word.
when they first bring up the word, and
Oh,
the women are like, what, shitska, they even said, like, because that's what my friend she's still to this day, she calls it as a joke, she calls it shitska because she couldn't say shiksa, so she kept saying shitska.
oh.
So just like things like that, just yeah, just really, really tickled me.
Mm.
And it's authentically cast. Of course, Tova Feldshuh always, playing playing the
Oh,
Jewish type, which she
mother.
does so well. And yeah, I mean, the casting is just so good, just like across the board. Other than the fact they didn't use me, the,
Fact.
the casting is just like really, really good, and authentic. So yeah, I
Excellent.
it just thoroughly entertained me beginning to end.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I've always been a fan of Kristen Bell. I didn't watch The Good Place, but I watched Veronica Mars, and I love that show. I love her in that show. I love her acting. It's very, she's funny yet vulnerable, yet like she's just very good at hitting lots of colors, which I've always appreciated and loved about her. And Adam Brody is so lovely and cute. I mean, gosh, did he do such a great job in this role as Noah. I love their relationship. I love how like simple and yet like funny and real and I really love the vulnerability of it all too. I'm just like, hey, like accept me for who I am. I love stories about people who come from different cultures or different backgrounds and things like that. I think it's the way of the future. It's, how the world needs to be. And so I really appreciated, this Jewish perspective versus atheist perspective, and trying to like meld those two. I think that was so beautifully done.
And it's also fun. I really enjoy it when they do come from those clashing cultures, and they have to like one has to win over the other culture, because when initially they're not accepted, and then they have to kind of win them over, and that's always a fun story too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think in this time, that we are in the United States with um all of the conflict that is happening abroad, like I think this was very timely. Um and like to bring in like compassion and empathy and understanding of, of the Jews. So I appreciated that a lot too. I also love the other relationships. Yes, of course, we stand Joanne and Noah. These two are the goats. That being said, I really love the siblings. I
Hmm.
think Morgan is what's it called? Joanne's sister, aka Kristen Bell's sister. And then on the other side, Noah has a brother called Sasha, played by Timothy Simmons. And he was hilarious. Like
Simon, I think it's Simon.
Simons,
Yeah,
Timothy Simons. And he was very unexpected and funny and like weird and just I really liked him.
yeah.
And I love their relationship. And I love the relationship between the siblings eventually that happened between Morgan and Sasha. It's funny. It's really good. It's well done. And the friends. I think I enjoyed a lot of the friends too. Bit zany. All the relationships
Mhm.
are interesting and fun. The parents' relationships, the relationships between the parents and their kids. Yeah, they had some unique stuff. They had some not unique stuff, things that we see all the time. Um, I think it was interesting though that the mothers and the fathers, there was always like, I don't know, that it's not this like super traditional, loving, like relationship between the two. And I would like to see that in another show, where one family it's more balanced and more loving. Um, but is it pretty
But
typical?
I feel like that is tradition. Like the Jewish parents, I feel like they were
I was
very
gonna
traditional.
say in Jewish, yeah, households,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
traditional.
That's yeah. I mean that like that relationship just seems so authentic to me.
The mother is the one who holds the
Right.
power.
Exactly. Exactly. And then the Shiksa parents, that to me felt like more like modern traditional, where the father is turns out to be gay, and then he's got a boyfriend, and like that was just, I mean, that whole thing was hilarious. The boyfriend, I just loved him.
It was wild, yeah. And the mother still being in love with the father. Like, it was a very interesting dynamic. Yeah, very cool. Other things that we liked, I loved the intimacy um, in this show. I almost was like, oh, you could have showed me more. I wouldn't have been mad at it. But yeah, I felt like that
The,
was
the show actually there's a play which I've loved for years. There's a scene from it that I've done in many different like showcases over the years, called "The Convertible Girl." It's written by Neil Simon's brother, Danny Simon,
okay.
and yeah, and the play is basically about a woman who is in the process of converting for her fiance, because she has to, because his mother is insisting that, or she's under the impression that his mother is insisting that she convert in order for them to be together. And it's really kind of concentrates on the process of her and she just like she all the scenes like with her and the rabbi are just hilarious, where she's trying to learn the thing and she's not getting it. She can't remember things. She gets confused, and it's just really, really fun and funny. But yeah, this show really reminded me of that play.
Mm, I need to read that play. Remind me of it later. I'll definitely look it up.
Mm.
Um, Excellent. And I was gonna say something about that this is loosely based on the like real life meet cute of the writer, which I thought that was very cool by of Aaron Foster. That's very, very fun.
Sister of Sarah Foster, and they do have a podcast that they
Oh,
do
they
together.
do? I didn't even know.
Yeah,
Is it similar podcast to the one that
I don't know what they talk about actually. I've never heard the podcast. I don't know the details of it.
okay. I'll have to like now listen to see
Yeah,
what it is about.
they're the daughters of David Foster.
Who is David Foster again?
David,
I'm the
composer
worst.
David Foster, like world famous. He's married to Catherine McPhee.
Oh, isn't she young?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even know. I was like, what? Yeah, I just see that. Well, he's had a lot of wives
yeah,
in
yeah. And there's that whole American Idol connection because Jackie Tone, who plays the sister-in-law, she was on American Idol
oh,
back in the day. And Catherine McPhee, of course, was came out
yeah.
of America.
That is wild to me. I did not know this. Very interesting. Cool. Well, let's get into the controversy of this thing. I want to hear all about this. What are the controversies?
Well, the controversy is basically that it's too stereotypical. The Jews are stereotypical, but the main thing is what you were talking about in terms of the women, especially the women being
Mm,
all portrayed in a negative light. But the controversy is more about that the Jewish women are made to look negative, not just women in general. So,
mm,
but that's the main controversy surrounding it.
gotcha.
It may just be like one person kind of speaking out about it, but I know I've seen all these articles about it. I don't know if it all stemmed from the same one person kind of attacking the show over those issues. But I
Does
did
that
not
mean are
find.
they wrong?
Well, I wouldn't say they're necessarily wrong, but I don't know that it's necessarily such a negative thing. Like to me, I thought it was all just in good fun and funny.
Hmm.
But the attack was more that this as though it's like hurting the Jewish community because of the way they're portraying them, and I don't see it that way. I see it as in good fun
Hmm.
personally.
Yeah. I guess it's always that question, right? Of like if people take this too seriously, right? And they think that this pattern of behavior that's created in this world is actually something that all Jewish women have or like act, then it can be detrimental, right, to that community. So it's like it's always that question of like, do people take this with a grain of salt or not?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I get. I mean, I get it, and yeah, maybe they should have had a more positive character to sort of balance it out. I guess
Hmm.
that would have been a probably a good thing to do. But
Hmm.
and I would assume that although it didn't happen in season one, I assume and I would hope that there's going to be more seasons. I know they're talking about it or hinting that there may be. Um, some there may be like character arcs with some of those characters where they may be shown in a more positive way, as seasons go on. So It
Mm.
kind of gives him some place to go. But yeah, I guess it would have been nice to have something to balance it out. I mean, as far as the overall, Jewish stereotypes, I don't know that. It's like it's one of those things like stereotypes sometimes are there for a reason because they're just like the way things are.
Right.
And I mean, and being that this is kind of her story, I feel like even though she did convert, so as is said in the show, the the
Spoiler alert, did she? Because like at the end of the show, I felt like she
well,
said she wasn't ready.
I don't know what she'll do with the character. I'm just saying that
Oh,
Aaron
oh, Erin
Foster,
Foster. Oh,
yeah,
converted. Mm.
converted for her husband, and
Okay.
so I mean, in terms of and they say it's in the show that the converts are actually in a way more Jewish
Oh yes.
than ones who were born that way because they
Hmm.
are doing it because they want to, not just because they're born that way.
Yeah.
So in that regard, she has every right to, as a member of the community, she has a right to kind of, in the way that, like a comedian of a particular group can
Yeah.
make fun of their own group, whereas somebody outside the group cannot.
Yeah.
And so I feel like she kind of gets a pass in terms of that because she is a member of the community.
No, I get you. No, I get you. I just felt like, for me, like it wasn't even a Jewish thing. It was on all sides. There's Jewish, atheists, whatever. All of the women seemed neurotic to a degree, to an end degree, and I was just like, can we just? Because like I think it would have been really great to have one woman at least who was like more grounded, like like not because there are women like that. Like I am that person, where I'm
Right.
not like super neurotic. I don't have like weird habits or tropes or any of those things. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
no, I think that's a more valid point than because
Jewish thing.
it's interesting that attack came specifically about the Jewish women,
Yeah.
and what you're saying is more accurate. That yeah, well, all the women are in
Hmm.
that vein. So I think that's a more valid criticism than the fact that it's showing the Jewish woman in a bad light.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm just like, and it was funny because this is created by a woman. And I'm like, why are you making the men look way more sane and way more like, you know, make like they make better decisions. They're like, you know,
Well, there is one woman actually
who
that we missed that the
are you talking about?
daughter
Ashley? Oh, the daughter?
daughter.
Ah, yeah, she was great.
She's
Miriam.
she's pretty grounded and sane and
That's true. Though that in that one scene, I mean, she was a little like, but because of the
well for
situation,
with good reason. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The way she treated her dad, I was just like, girl, you're in a black household. This would not fly. Oh, God. Yeah, yeah, no. And I mean, of course, I'm black, so like I'm always gonna be like, the lack of melanin was noticeable. But like it didn't bother me. I still loved the show. I was just like, I would have loved to see a black person, a black woman, especially in the show. I think it wouldn't have been crazy and out of the world. I also think it's hopefully for future seasons, it's something that they think about, like, you know, the question of who is a Jew and what does a Jew look like? Like in the US, it's always think the thought is, oh, this is a white person. And it's like, no, there are all kinds of Jewish people. And it would be
Right.
really cool to explore that as well.
Agreed.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, just I think it will bring that much more depth and make people fall in love with it even more. Now, my favorite question always, if you could play anyone in the show, who would you want to play?
Well, aside from Mr. Goldman, that I would have loved to have played. As far as a series regular, I think I'd want to be the brother I think he's the most fun
Sasha.
character. Yeah, Sasha.
Mhm. I can see you as Sasha. He is. He is very funny, very interesting. And his relationship with his wife, Esther, is also very wild.
Yeah.
I love that. I, no questions. I would want to be Joanne. I would want to be Kristen Bell's character. I love everything about her.
Hmm.
Um, even the spiraling, even though I'm not a spiraler, that is not me, but it's fun to play. And she always like somehow, some way, like figures it out though still and makes for the most part the right decisions. So I appreciate her. I like her a lot.
Mm.
I love the writing in this show. It's so clever. It's so well done. Um, yeah, and I think this is a show that people are going to watch again and again and again. Are going to make it, a part of their, oh, I'll watch it once a year or once every couple of months because of how cute it is, how sweet it is, and how much it reminds us of like, hey, it doesn't matter our differences, you are still able to connect in spite of it all, despite it all, etc.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, by the way, that so they have Aaron Foster and her husband. They have a daughter, and the daughter's name is no, is it Noah Mimi? I forget the middle name, but Noah. Noah's the first name. So
Mm,
that was interesting.
yeah, that is interesting. The other interesting side effect of the show is Adam Brody's and low-key Kristen Bell, but not as much. But their like popularity rise. Like people are like, "Oh my gosh, do you remember how much we loved these people?" And it's like, "Oh, we really love them, and look, here's proof of why we love them." Yeah, that's
Hmm.
been very interesting to watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I because I forgot about Adam Brody. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I haven't seen him do something in a while. And the OC was really the last big show for me where I was like, oh yes, Adam Brody. And after that, yeah. Whereas Kristen Bell has had more regular work since the Veronica
Hmm.
Mars. Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's been fun to see. Um, any last thoughts about Nobody Wants This?
No, I just want season two.
Yes, give us season two and give it to us soon.
And put
Another
me on
thing that Hmm?
it. And put me on it.
Oh yes, put us on it, both of us. Hire us. We would be really great for the show, just saying. I also love the music. I forgot to mention. Um, like I noticed it and I really enjoyed the song selections that they had in the music. It was like slaps. Beautiful. Okay. If there are no last remarks, thanks for joining me today, Jerry, and for doing this
Having
review with
me.
me. Of course. And thank y'all for watching. Most importantly, we couldn't do it if nobody was watching. Or maybe we would still do it even if no one was watching. I don't know. I probably would. But go watch Nobody Wants This. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know like if you hate it, love it, kind of like it, whatever. And what your criticisms are, if you have any, and your praise. And we hope to catch you at another JaYo review very, very soon. Merci tout le monde. Thank you. And bye.